Hello, welcome everyone to The Distraction here on Fightful.com. I am Jeremy Lambert, joined, as always, the slayer of wrestling features, Joe Hulbert. Joe, what's going on, buddy?
I'm back. The actual slayer of wrestling features is back this week, This is like a debut.
Yeah,
We've had some problems. Jeremy. I'm going to be honest with you, okay? I'm going to pull back the curtain. There was some issues getting the offense running with me involved, but now it's starting to flow again. You know what I'm saying? I'm finding my spots on the court. I'm ready, man. I'm back. And the podcast is just already a major success, right? That's what I hear anyway. That's what kids tell me.
You've gotta relearn how to play at a high level every night.
Yes. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough because I'm having my own team. When you have your own team, you take all the shots. It's just take the toughest defensive assignment. Now I'm in a role, and I'm accepting the role. Ready to win a championship. That's what we're here for, Jeremy. We're also here to talk about wrestling, apparently, but
the Manu Ginobili of Fightful.
Yeah, that's the generous one. I agree. I like Bellinelli as sort of more reasonable, but we'll take Ginobili.
No, we're going Ginobili. You're
okay.
Ginobili.
You see how these features do.
I saw. Yeah. Can I spoil what one of the features is?
You can. Yeah, it's advertising. Man, let's go.
Yeah, it's Asuka and Becky Lynch. That comes out tomorrow, I believe. Mm-hmm. I think tomorrow or Saturday at 11.
Yes.
So it'll be up on the main site.
Yes, and we have a Sheamus feature too. Yes. That's also there.
I saw that as well, but
it's a double header, man. This is big. I mean, I understand a lot of our audience is probably excited. It's Royal Rumble weekend and all this, but like realistically, in 20 years they might go, "Oh, there was a Rumble that weekend," but they will definitely say that was when Joe got back involved in the offense. That's what they'll say, won't they, Jeremy? So I'm very excited. Two big features, and if you like them, compliment them on Twitter. If not, never ever tweet me again. Thank you. That's the rule. That's the rule, Jeremy, okay?
That's a fair rule. I can get behind that rule.
Yes, I agree.
It is the Royal Rumble weekend. We're going to talk about the Royal Rumble. For those of you new to The Distraction, welcome. It's our third episode, crushing the numbers. Killed Sean's interviews with Alicia Toots and Stevie Ray. They have nothing on us, just dominating them and the viewership. It's AEW NXT massacre out there.
We're winning the war. We are in a conflict within our own army. That's what we're winning right now. Civil war is taking place on Fightful.com.
Thank you for everyone for tuning in, listening, watching. Support us. Best way to support us, FightfulSelect.com. You get Joe's features early, I believe. You don't get the distraction early because it's posted literally within hours of us doing it. Yes. We should do a behind the scenes of all the technical issues we have pre-show. I don't know if people would want to see that.
It would be like the length of the Irish one, though, wouldn't it? One episode would be like a whole series onto itself.
We set 5 minutes on a clock, discuss the topic, and then we move on. We go overtime. It's our podcast. We can do kind of whatever we want. But that is the gimmick of the show. And because it is Royal Rumble week, Joe, we're going to discuss the Royal Rumble. We're going to start with the men's Royal Rumble. Joe, who do you have winning the men's Royal Rumble?
This match is like the ultimate conflict of the Rumble as a fan. Because I am still a fan, Jeremy, as much as people might disagree with that. I am still a fan. And this is one of those occasions where there is a clear winner. I am fine with that winner. I'm actually happy with that winner. However, I'm now beginning to do that game we play, where you convince yourself that, Mojo Rawley's ready for a run and all these things start running through your mind. But Roman Reigns is almost certainly winning this match. I'm actually training my brain now to just say it's happening. I'm cool with it. I like Roman Reigns, but when there's a clear winner, naturally you kind of look elsewhere. But it's Roman Reigns, right? What are you saying?
That's where I'm at. I'm at Roman Reigns. I don't know. There's other possibilities. McIntyre, we discussed him last week. He's there. Cain Velasquez, which I really hope does not happen. I don't want a Cain Velasquez thing. Maybe Bryan gets into the Rumble after he does the match with Wyatt. Maybe Wyatt gets into the Rumble after the match with Bryan if he somehow loses. The thing is, they've already announced 24 names on the men's side. So you're either taking somebody out or you're not leaving many surprises for this thing. But you mentioned to me off air the second favorite on the betting odds is none other than CM Punk. What's the possibility of CM Punk winning this thing?
There an equal amount of possibility that I turn up and and win the Royal Rumble.
So a high
That's
shot.
the truth. Yes, very high, because clearly I'm, the numbers suggest that I'm a big draw right now, Jeremy. So I'd say he does well on backstage, I do well on Fightful.com. That's the way it goes. But
I think we're drawing more viewers than backstage.
We're not far off. Okay, but the Brock thing is very interesting in this match because it does add an interesting element, and I'm all for finding new stuff for Brock to do. It's been a long time in the exact same position forever and ever, but it actually kind of makes it less exciting to me because I have no belief that the Raw winner is going to win this. The Raw challenger is going to win the match. He's clearly, to me, going to eliminate Brock Lesnar, right? Like, I just can't. I don't see Brock's in first too, so Brock's not going to be in there the whole time. There's just no way. Brock's going to be in there for probably a short burst, and whoever eliminates him is on the road to WrestleMania, or they're on the road to Saudi Arabia, which is a long road. And it's Roman, man. I know people are going to be upset. Are you upset, Jeremy? I'm not upset.
If it's Roman, no. I'm kind of like you, where I've trained my brain to just, all right, it's Roman. If it's him, cool. If it's not, even better. So it's almost like a low expectations thing, to where either the expected thing's going to happen and I've accepted it, or something unexpected is going to happen and hopefully it's good, and that'll be great as well.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is we all agree, everything's subjective, but I think we all agree that Roman belongs, especially on that SmackDown group, he belongs in a major match at Mania, right? Like, that's just the way it is.
He's going to keep wrestling Baron Corbin.
Yeah, I mean, that's the other alternative. Now, that's the one interesting thing. Like, what happens if... I don't even want to say it, but I like Baron Corbin, Jeremy, okay? But what happens if that feud is not finished here?
It's not.
And... Okay,
here's my paint by numbers WWE booking. Because here's what they do. Corbin is going to win the Rumble match, the Falls Count Anywhere match at the Rumble.
Oh, right. I thought you were talking about the... Yeah. Okay, carry on.
Roman is going to win the Rumble, and then the February pay-per-view, Elimination Chamber, maybe even Saudi Arabia, it's going to be the whole put your WrestleMania spot on the line against Corbin. Yeah. Corbin, he's beaten him a handful of times. Like, that's how I think this plays out.
That sounds very, very, accurate, but I will challenge you with a more daring solution that might scare you somewhat, okay? Insert Baron Corbin in the 2000 Big Show spot, in which he actually wins that match that gets him the shot at WrestleMania. And suddenly, Jeremy, we are staring down the barrel of a multi-man match featuring both Baron and Roman still linked at WrestleMania.
So Roman... we could do Roman, Corbin... Wyatt, and let's just throw in the Miz and get a McMahon in every corner, and let's go for it.
Look, I mean, at the end, my interest level will probably be the same in all of these scenarios, and that isn't even a reflection on anyone involved. It's just whatever babyface you put opposite the Fiend at WrestleMania. It's like we all kind of know writing's on the wall, right? Like, you slay the monster and everyone cheers or boos, probably boos. But yeah, it's Roman. Everyone's going to get mad. We're going to all hashtag cancel the network and not do it and all that good stuff. Some people do it. I shouldn't say that because, evidence suggests otherwise. But I won't be cancelling, Jeremy, when I watch this at 1 p.m. on Monday.
Is that what time it airs over there?
No, that's what time I'll be watching it. There's no way. Listen, Jeremy, I'm going to tell you this now, okay? We're off the timer now, right?
Yeah.
When Fightful.com, the tweet came out on my feed, Andrade Humberto Carrillo is on the pay-per-view. And I like Humberto. I know that the Fightful, I know there's a lot of stuff going on with Humberto. I like him, okay? When that match was added, it was a clear decision. I'm not staying up for this show. Okay, there's 6 non-Rumble matches. This is very long. Very, very long. Old Rumbles used to be 2 hours 40. This is going to be a marathon, Jeremy. I can watch 7 Rumble matches in this time.
Every event is a marathon
nowadays.
It's
tough. It's real tough.
If Sean's listening, he's got to write the Humberto Carrillo article if Humberto wins the U.S. title. That's the...
I'm pro Humberto. Every person, all 2 of them that read my 205 work will know I'm pro Humberto, but I have limitations, and this is one of them. There's no need for that thing to be on the Royal Rumble, okay?
Let's move forward to the women's... Is it the women's Royal... Are they just both Royal Rumble matches? They've dropped the women's.
And it's randomly drawn, and luckily all of the women go in one. And men, other than Nia last year, who slotted in, it's just randomly drawn. That's what it is.
Who do you have winning the women's Royal Rumble with 5 whole participants right now?
I feel super bad. I have no like interest in scoop, take, anything. To me, it's just, is Ronda available? Yes. Okay, she wins the Royal Rumble. No. Okay, Shayna wins it. That's super boring answer. I know, Jim. I'm trying my best here. I have nothing. Sasha Banks, like maybe, but I don't know, man. I'm not even sure we're doing the Sasha Bailey thing at WrestleMania. I don't even know if that's a thing. I think we might have just like imagined it.
It's a thing the same way it was a thing like last year. Remember everyone? I think it was last year or 2 years ago. Like, oh, they're holding off. They're gonna do Sasha and Bailey at Mania. They're gonna do it at Mania. Yeah. And then, well, in fairness,
I was there for that WrestleMania, and the crowd was electric during the Women's Battle Royal. So perhaps it was a paid-off, angle. But I just can't see any. And the thing as well is this: when you start overthinking, because I don't think they actually care about any of this stuff. But in my mind, I'm locking Roman in as the men's winner. The Raw brand is getting the women's winner, and then I look at the Raw brand, and I see no actual, like, I don't think the Charlotte thing's happening, which we'll talk about in a minute. I actually want to talk about Charlotte Flair. It's very interesting. I know that you transcribed an interview. I don't think she's winning it. So to me, it goes Shayna and Ronda. And then there is an outlaw chance, Nia Jax, perhaps. I'm just saying, because that match, I could see them doing that personally,
I think it's Shayna. That's been my pick pretty much since the Survivor Series thing, because I feel like they're gonna have to pay that off at some time. What is your theory with Charlotte?
I'm fascinated by this situation they're in, and I'm not blaming them for it. I understand it, but like, she's in like the spot that Ric Flair was in when the NWO was running wild, and he was like he was like cemented. You didn't know what to do with him. You couldn't slide him too far down, because then you take away what makes them special. They have an aura. Charlotte does have an actual aura of superstar. So you can't take that away with having her go like 50-50 with Sarah Logan and lose. But you don't really want to keep her in title matches. I feel people are done with that. You're stuck, aren't you, in the middle? And then that brings up to what's the WrestleMania match? I mean, I tweeted about this, and someone had a suggestion of a Bianca Belair match. That is an awesome idea as a match. However, I don't see how you get that on a 15-match WrestleMania card and give it time to succeed. Like, it's just a really tough spot. Unless she teams up with Natalya again, I don't see where she fits on Mania right now.
We don't.
I don't know. I just don't know, Jeremy. Okay? I don't know.
Charlotte, Natalya. Aren't they owed a title shot? I can't remember. That whole thing was a mess. I could see her teaming up with somebody and then doing it against the Kabuki Warriors, because they're gonna have to, assuming they don't lose the titles before WrestleMania. They're gonna have to be on that show all over it. It's definitely gonna. That's gonna be a multi-winner
Bliss match. Cross, Kabuki, probably an NXT team, I'd imagine, and then Charlotte and Friend, I'd assume.
The 4 horsewomen from the NXT, Jessamine and Marina, they're clearly ready for that.
That's one idea that I won't comment on.
They're going to get all the 4 horsewomen on this show, because this is the WrestleMania, because Ronda's going to come back. She's going to interfere and help Shayna beat Becky at WrestleMania. Okay. You're going to have the horsewomen win the women's tag team titles, Marina and Jessamine, and it's going to be a long build to the horsewomen versus horsewomen match that we've been promised or teased for like 3 years now.
Dude, what if that actually is, like, what is that? What if that's the match? I'm being absolutely sincere, Jim. What if that is the match? What if we do some crazy stuff? What if Lacey wins the SmackDown title, okay? Asuka wins the Raw title, and next thing you know, there's horsewoman, warfare, and you have, I guess, Asuka and Kairi Sane is the Raw match, and Lacey versus Dana Brooke as the SmackDown match. That's my suggestion. I agree. Good idea, Jeremy.
Yes, Lacey and Dana Brooke WrestleMania match. Who's turning that down?
I mean, there's probably worse options. I wouldn't scoff at this, because that Lacey match, I don't know if we haven't got that as a topic, I understand, but people are just like ticking that one off. Bailey win. Whoa, let's calm down. I didn't think we were going to do a 3-month feud about this. When it started, I thought, nice stopgap. Lacey gets some experience. No, we're still here. Okay, it's Royal Rumble weekend. We're about to see him wrestle.
Lacey's been the biggest non-horsewoman star since like last year's WrestleMania.
That's crazy. You face. I guess it's working though, right? Am I wrong about this, or is this working? People seem excited
for Lacey.
Have you lost me?
No, you're still there. Yeah, I guess people are excited for Lacey. I don't know.
People seem excited. Like the crowd, there was it? Did she wrestle Bailey last week? I get confused.
Yeah, she beat Bailey.
Yes, that was like watching a match from sort of 1991 Saturday night main event. You know what I mean? Like, it was, the people were electric in there, Jeremy. They were still jumping up and down. I don't really want it to work, but I think it's working very well. You know,
if you say so.
Look. When I say this is the truth.
You must have the edited version where they like turn up the volume.
I don't know. It's changed broadcaster over here recently. Okay, but seriously, this is what I will say. This Sunday will be the test for that match, because we're not going to talk about this match anymore. So let me just get this out of the way. That crowd will be very different to the one she's been running in front of, like North Carolina TV crowds. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a very different thing.
Yeah.
Let's see how they do with it. I fear for it somewhat. You know.
We're going to talk about some other matches for the whole Royal Rumble weekend, not just the Royal Rumble. There are other singles matches. We have Fiend and Bryan, Reigns and Corbin. We have the Worlds Collide event with Undisputed Era and Imperium. We have the Becky Lynch and Asuka. Plenty of matches, of wrestling matches under the WWE banner this weekend. Joe, what's a match or two that sticks out to you for this weekend?
Easily for me, it's Becky and Asuka. And I greatly admire both of them as performers. They're both great in their own way, but I've never been like super invested in either of them individually, just because every wrestler's different for me. Some people I care about, some I don't. But this is like legitimately interested me from the start, because this is old-fashioned in its approach, right? Like, returning to the scene of the crime, doing 1 year in between two singles matches is so anti everything WWE does now. Where we just watched a feud with Buddy and Aleister Black, where they rematch 3 times in a month. Like, this is so refreshing to me. This is what I like, where the result really means something beyond who's going to walk out with the shiny belt. You know, that's my match. I don't know about you, but for me, that's the clear number one on the Rumble. The Worlds Collide is a lot of fun matches. Rhea Ripley and Toni Storm is probably the clear standout for me, though.
I'm with you on Asuka and Becky, because there is a long-term story there, whether it was planned or not, and I highly doubt it was.
It wasn't.
They've done a strong job. Becky has done an amazing job of really getting this over, and Asuka, even though she doesn't speak English, just her talking in Japanese, we don't know what she's saying, but her delivery is outstanding, and Becky reacts to it very well. So 100%. I've loved this feud. I think last year's match was good. I think this match will be good. Worlds Collide, I'm looking forward to Gargano and Ciampa against Mustache Mountain. There's not much heat on this match, but we're getting a DIY reunion for the first time since the Dusty Classic last year, when Gargano turned on him, and they were supposed to have their big blow off at Mania, but injuries got in the way of all that. They're an amazing team. Mustache Mountain, amazing team. That'll probably open the show, because Triple H loves his tag team openers, and it'll have tremendous heat, I would imagine. And I'm sure it'll be a great match. All 4 of those guys are outstanding. So that's kind of the match. Worlds Collide, there's not a whole lot of build to those matches outside of just hey, here's a promo, we did some attacks, and that's about it. But as far as straight wrestling matches go, there's a lot of good stuff on that card.
That's the safe bet, right? That's the, we're going to get to NWA in soon, but that's Friday night, and you have Rumble on the Sunday, and in the middle you have the safe bet, that's going to be a really good show. There is no way that show will be anything less than really good. Yeah. It could be even better than that. The issue is whether or not, enough people actually care about it. I don't know if that's, it's strange, them matches, all of them are the sort of matches that my social media explodes for. Everyone's so excited about them. And I am too. I think they'll be very good, but I don't know if they have the investment that will make them kind of enduring in the way that, to me, when I think great matches that take place in NXT, the result always matters. There's been a lot of great exhibition matches, right, in NXT, where it's kind of this is going to be great, what will happen, what will happen. But the reason, you just went DIY, the reason their stuff always resonated was because there was always a story behind Gargano's ascension, and then when you had Ciampa, there was always a importance to the result. Shows like this can't have that. It's just impossible to, it's like Survivor Series. Survivor Series ends and we'll just go back to as it was. It's impossible to really care about what happens in the end. I'm
with you on that, because, the the 8-man tag team main event, we just saw, Imperium cost Undisputed Era the Dusty Classic, and then Roderick Strong lost the North American title. Maybe Imperium pins Undisputed Era. You set up a feud there that you can do in NXT. Like, I don't think Walter or Adam Cole are taking the pinfall.
No.
So I don't know what you can really set up out of that. Rhea Ripley, Toni Storm, at least they're the NXT championship. Can't call it women's anymore. The NXT championship is on the line, so there is something there. Yeah, the DIY and Mustache Mountain match, it really is just, here's 4 great wrestlers, 2 great tag teams, 1 great match. Like, that's the whole story of the thing.
It's very interesting. I don't know. I've recently had to catch up on all the NXT stuff I missed, but so you might have to help me on this. Do you think there's any idea or inkling that there's kind of some form of money in Roddy versus Adam Cole? Like Roddy getting chucked out of the group or something like that. Do you think that's ever happening, or are they just going to stay as a 4 for as long as we can kind of see forward, you know?
I feel like they're just going to stay as a 4-person group. They teased it a while ago when Roddy didn't have a title and when he cost Cole the first time against Gargano, when he was kind of... He felt like the weak link, and people were like, "Oh, they're gonna kick him out of the group," and then it never happened. And like, the way they talk, they make it sound like they don't want to break up, kind of like a New Day type of thing.
Yeah.
And if they don't want to, like, I'm fine with it. I think they're a great
group. And also it's the fact that NXT really isn't lacking in like babyface guys that they can coronate at any point. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just makes it more messy, I guess. But yeah, that was interesting. That was the one thing I was thinking. Is there some sort of angle that comes out of the main event? Probably not, to be honest. No, there's probably not.
Yeah, I don't, unless like Undisputed Era stands tall, Ciampa comes out and just essentially like points at Cole and reestablishes himself as the top contender. That's like the only thing I can kind of see, because I feel like they're going Ciampa Cole at Mania weekend, and you got to start rebuilding to that at some point. So that would be a potential time to restart that. I mean, a stare down angle to close the show isn't like monumental or anything, but it's something.
It's interesting. Once upon a time, NXT was, because of the hour format and the tape format, it was so easy to see where they were going. They do so many big matches now weekly that I have genuinely no idea what like the end game is. I don't know if they do. I don't think it matters, I guess, because people go to them shows because they know they're going to be good. But that'll be an interesting thing to follow, definitely.
We're going to stick with the Rumble, look back at the history of the Rumble a little bit. Joe, favorite Royal Rumble memories? Okay,
I'm gonna open up an apology here. You told me about this topic, I believe, on 5 days ago, maybe 5 days ago.
And Sunday or Monday.
I've spent at least 25 minutes pondering this in detail, and I have no creative answer whatsoever. However, I mean, we can touch on the easy ones, right? Would you like to do that, Jeremy? I know you share some ideas with me on this, because I saw that you, as I asked my legion of followers to help, I saw that you noticed that they were stealing from your brain. So, is there any you want to say? John Cena coming back? Is that the one?
John Cena coming back. Look,
that was a great one, Jeremy. It was great. You gotta say.
John Cena, the GOAT, returning when no one thought he was going to return. People thought he was going to be out till WrestleMania. He came back. The look on his face, the crowd pop at MSG, like that just, I remember watching that in college by myself, because I didn't have any friends who wanted to watch wrestling with me, and just going crazy in my dorm room. I don't want to oversell it, but I was like, oh man, John Cena's back. Like, I've always been a fan of John Cena. He's
that visual is great too, isn't it? That's like an iconic Cena visual.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I will, I'll take that, but I'll raise you, because it's the Rumble I watched this morning. Too Cool halting the Rumble match in order to do their dance routine. Your fault.
Which Rumble was this?
This was Royal Rumble 2000. I've watched 2 Rumbles in preparation for this podcast, and they featured some key moments. I'll list them off if you'd like. That was one of them. The other was Kai and Tai constantly running in and out, and poor Taka Michinoku landed on his face. That was very bad.
Remember that.
That'll be in my least favourite when we get there. Remember that, okay? 98 does have the Faces of Foley thing. That's in that one, which is definitely better as like a video package in which you put all the good parts together, like just when he walks out, because they don't really seem to capitalise on how much people will talk about that moment moving forward, right? Like, if you actually watch it, it's like, oh, that was cool, He throws Terry Funk out. Sorry, Chainsaw Charlie out. Favourite mate, that's another one, Jeremy. While we're talking about these particular two Rumbles that I had studied in detail, Chainsaw Charlie and Cactus Jack opening a Rumble with just violent chair shots is an all-time professional wrestling moment in my view. I don't know about you, that's just me.
I like that. I remember. I'm trying to fully recall, and chair shots are tough, but that was a good moment. I like, and this is a little bit off the board potentially. Shawn Michaels 95 going coast to coast with British Bulldog, and that Rumble's not good. Like there's not.
No, it's like the shortest one, right?
Yeah, like it's like 40 minutes or something, if that. But I liked it because that was the first Rumble I ever saw. And so like the whole concept was new to me. And so seeing this guy going coast to coast like that, I was like, oh, that's really cool. And Bulldog thought he won, and Michaels, did the whole skin the cat, 1 foot touched type gimmick. Like I thought that was cool.
And how many times have they used that since?
Yes.
So that does tell you something about it. Here's one that has absolutely no historical context whatsoever, but comes to mind because it was on. Someone posted it on social. We might have posted it. I don't know. The Maven eliminating Undertaker spot is an incredible moment. And it means nothing in history. Absolutely nothing. But as a moment, that is awesome, right? That's classic.
Does it mean nothing in history?
Good. I mean, in the sense that we're not talking about like Maven. As we're sitting here now,
Maven turned out to be like nothing.
It just didn't happen. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, what I'm saying is it would have been an even better moment if Maven went on to have like a Hall of Fame career and was like, man, do you remember when it all started at the Rumble?
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
I do
think
that
was a good one.
I think as far as historic value, though, it has historic value as like one of the most shocking eliminations of all time.
Yeah.
Like, and it becomes more shocking because Maven didn't go on to do anything.
True. True.
Maven, this guy eliminated the Undertaker.
That moment speaks so much to Taker's power, like as a character, right? I know it isn't for everyone. All the different incarnations. I know some people prefer some others, but that character had such an aura that will never be created again. To get that reaction just from an elimination is insane. I mean, I understand NXT kind of like did like this tribute to it with the Baszler spot last week, right?
Yeah.
And it was like, I will not remember that in the week. So the Taker thing, we're still talking about in 2020, partly because it's posted on social media. It's not just purely from memory. I forget these things. But what I will say is, are you part of the camp? And I think it's a big camp that's just Rumble is the greatest moment of the WWE calendar. That's like the peak, the Royal Rumble. Are you one of those guys?
Well, first, wait until Tucker eliminates Brock Lesnar on Sunday, and then we will have a moment that'll top Maven and The Undertaker. And I went Tucker, not Otis, because everyone loves Otis. Tucker is just the other guy in that group.
Yes.
I do love the Rumble because of the surprise elements. Is it the peak? I get more excited for WrestleMania personally, but I do like Rumble Day. Just it feels like it's the beginning of. I mean, it is the beginning of the road to WrestleMania.
It's great. Yeah. I mean, the issue with it is we all have such fond memories of different Rumbles that when it actually happens, more often than not, we leave it like, oh yeah, that was what I thought it would be. Oh, okay, like if Roman wins, that's what the reaction will be. Unfortunately, it'll be like. It'll just be like, oh, okay, yeah, that was exactly what I thought would happen. Cool. But that's just inevitable. You can't make it unpredictable every year.
Obligatory 1992 Royal Rumble reference.
Of course, but that was easy. I want to talk about Kai and Ty and what else did we talk about? All that other good stuff. Too Cool. You didn't even comment on Too Cool, Dream. I was very upset about it.
I don't remember that moment.
No.
I'm sure. I mean, now that you mention it, it comes up a little, but I didn't watch it this morning like you
I
did.
would like you to know that Rikishi in that match, in the first 10, is a formidable figure in that match. He's throwing people out left and right. So much so that the big boss man refuses to enter the ring with him one-on-one. He waits until Test comes out, which I thought was fascinating. Anyway, that was
I like the Austin 97 run where he's just tossing guys out, and then the look on his face when Brett's music hit is iconic to me. I
feel that Rumble is much better than the following one, which I was just talking about, the one he won with Tyson in the crowd.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a very good Rumble. I think the one before where that's him really in an actual ascension, because that's him coming out of nowhere in the months prior to it for the Brett program,
Yeah. Least favorite Rumble moments, Joe, along with Taka falling on his face.
That was brutal. I feel so bad for it. That was just awful to watch, you know. And they kept showing it. They showed it 4 times and kept explaining he was on his way to the hospital. They could have just stopped at some point, you know. But one highlight of that was Funaki kept coming out, and Jim Ross explained that he didn't think they understood they weren't in the match, which I found a fascinating proclamation in many ways, you know, because that would take some real confusion to be chucked out of the ring 4 times and still think that you're in the match. I don't know how they managed that, but anyway, you asked me for least favourite Rumble moments. Mania moments, hard of a topic. This is the easy one, right? The Rey Mysterio, for some reason, becoming a villain because he was not Daniel Bryan is a very sad wrestling moment.
Do we know that wasn't Daniel Bryan underneath the mask?
No, we don't. That's the worst part about it. Yeah. They didn't wait to find out. For all we know, that was the angle.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. For all we know, he was going to win the Rumble, take the mask off, everyone cheers, but they called an audible because of the crowd. That's the biggest what-if in the history of wrestling, in my opinion, Jeremy. You know, you brought it up.
Mine is the Reigns Rumble victory, mainly because he took a nap for 30 minutes and then he needed The Rock's help to come out. Just the complete wrong booking of that whole entire thing.
That was the one with the Kane and Big Show. That was all-time WWE badness. Because the audience that was there for that knew Roman was going to win and didn't want him to. And then they just was like, we're just going to lean into it and just give him Big Show and Kane. And they'll definitely want him to win it then. Nope, didn't work. Poor Big Show, man. He turns up in some torrid moments, doesn't he, throughout WWE history, you know?
I mean, you watched the 2000 Rumble today.
Exactly, yeah.
He won that because he called his own audible and decided to...
Well, this is interesting. I've just realised earlier on I said that Corbin could play Big Show from 2000, and then 5 minutes later I revealed that I'd just watched that Rumble, meaning that the historical reference was the easiest I'd ever made. But anyway, bad Rumble moments. I mean, can we just group together the 75% of every Rumble match in which nothing's happening? Can we look at that as a bad Rumble moment in itself?
Sure.
You know?
Sure.
I mean, because that's obviously the greatest irony of the Royal Rumble is that how many Rumbles have there been now? Over 30, right? Gotta be.
Close.
A lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
I'm not good at math. That's why I'm into
Jeremy,
writing.
I'm going to ask you sincerely, and this is not, you haven't got the time to calculate this or figure it out. You just need to give me a number, okay? This say there's been 30 for the sake of arguments. How many have been good? Go.
I think,
and is it under 10?
Like start to finish, it's probably under 10.
That's the incredible part. But I often think this about WrestleMania. This is the other dirty secret none of us even talk about. It's like, how many WrestleManias are like legitimately great wrestling shows? I don't know if it's an impressive number. I really don't. But, you know, that's a negative way I look at it. But this is the least favourite moment. So I'm allowed to kind of critique these kind of things. But it depends how much you enjoy guys in the corner kind of, you know, trading right hands. And I do think that someone, you know, the classic tease where you just kind of lift the guy up and they fight and then, you know, like King gets scared that they're going to get eliminated. Someone needs to go out that way this year. Someone needs to just be picked up and be like, oh no, and then they just slowly fall out of the ring. There's no sort of drama to it. They just fall out. I feel this would be a game changer because then every time it happens, I'm on the edge of my seat, you know? I would be thinking, wow, what's going to happen next? That's my big aim for this year.
I want the video game feel of you got a guy on the apron and then you have one guy just trying to like push him, but he's holding on. But then when another guy comes and pushes him, he goes down quicker.
Yes. Is that a really dated reference you just made, or is that are the games still like this? Because I know exactly.
No idea. I have not played a WWE 2K game in like I think I'm referencing like the SmackDown series. I think that's how they did that old gimmick. Or actually, the SmackDown series might have just been like a very quick elimination type thing. But yeah, I think
I know what you're talking about. Where like you go over and join and you're both doing the exact same pushing motion.
Yeah, you're both just like shoving the guy and he's just holding on. You get visuals if you're watching. But yeah, that's what I want.
That would be awesome, yeah. Yeah, I mean, we need to mix it up a little bit, you know. Like I've seen the playbook one out. I know who's going to do the cool stuff. I know what heel will probably be embarrassed. That's a good question, actually. I don't know the answer to that, and I shouldn't have claimed I did. What heel will have the embarrassing elimination in this match?
Bobby Roode. I don't even know if he's in it. But
that was a real personal shot. That's the thing. We know like 25 of the guys, and we're just guessing on a whim. Of course we would. Well, we wouldn't research this kind of thing. It's a topic I just brought up out of nowhere. But someone has to be embarrassed in some form of way, don't they, by the Rumble? That's the rules, you know?
People got to stop running when a guy's on the apron, too.
Terrible idea.
Don't do that.
Terrible idea. This is an interesting thought, actually. How are they going... Is Brock going to get taken out in kind of like emphatic fashion? Like Drew claymores him and picks him up and throws him out? Or are we talking... Like, you know, what you just said, where he, like, runs at someone. Imagine that. That would be incredible.
You know how he's going to lose, Joe? By a distraction.
Oh, yes. They've upped the distraction since this podcast started, right? I thought they have.
They've actually lowered it, because I try to...
Wow.
Yeah. There was the one show, it was the week before we did our first show, and... It was like 3 finishes on Raw were all distraction finishes. So I guess you can only lower it from there. Because it was literally like 3 out of 5 matches had a distraction.
They did one on NXT last night, right? Am I wrong in saying this? There was one on NXT.
Not the main event, the Undisputed Era match.
That was it.
Yeah, they did the Imperium distraction. They did one on AEW too, the Janela match, Janela and MJF. They had a distraction in that one.
I'm not sure about that finish. I'm really not sure about that finish. That was... dangerously like this. The babyface is very dumb territory, you know. Yeah. I'm not sure, but here's what it is. We'll talk about AEW, I assume, at some point. I think we are, right? Because I have takes.
We can jump into it. We can jump into it right now. We can talk about AEW.
Well, I don't want to leave any negative Royal Rumble memories on the table. I have none more to share, really. You know, other than the Big Boss Man. Anytime he was eliminated is a bit of a sad moment for me. That's what I would say to conclude. I don't know about you.
Why is that?
Well, I just think, the Big Boss Man is a great victim of a common cause that happens to wrestlers of his size, where every time they enter the Rumble, the colour commentator announces that they are their pick to win the match, and they are a favourite for the match. And I feel at some point, you have to reward that kind of size and scale, you know? Like, you can't keep telling me this, man. You can't keep doing it. Jeremy, I'm young enough, thankfully, that I missed out on this trauma as a youngster, thankfully. But imagine if you're a Big Boss Man fan, okay? 2000 rolls around, and Jerry Lawler's still telling you he's going to win this match, Jeremy. Imagine. At some point, you got to pay off the angle. And unfortunately, we never got there. Terrible shame.
Isn't that your fault for believing Jerry Lawler?
Possibly, but, I mean, in the sense of longevity, I mean, he still talks to me every Monday night. I mean, that is pretty impressive in itself. I mean, he's still here. He still talks to me. He still leads me through these things, explains right and wrong. You know, I trust him, especially when it comes to his Royal Rumble predictions. He's known for being spot on with those, you know. It's not even just him. They all did it. It's a poor boss, man. Anyway, get to the modern
Lawler,
wrestling,
I don't remember which one it was. I think it was the 97 or the 96 Rumble. Where he's on commentary, he gets in, he gets punched out, and he goes back to the commentary. That's a good spot.
That's classic. That's actually classic Lawler before Dark Days Lawler. But anyway, leave it up.
Let's go to AEW. They had their show last night. The big news coming out of the show: no Luther on the cruise. Very just extremely disappointing. Joe, what did you make of AEW and the lack of Luther?
Wait, so, because I don't know any of the spoilers, is he just not on the cruise altogether?
I don't believe he's on the cruise at all.
I mean, Jericho must be, doing hundreds of refunds right now as we speak, right?
I would imagine so. I mean, this is why the alcohol was free, to make up for the lack of Luther.
Yeah, true. I must say, Jeremy, I have to apologise to the audience. I have not been co-opted. I have not been bought. My opinion has not been bought yet, but I'm really becoming a fan of this show, and I don't quite know why or when it happened. This show is fun, man.
It's good.
I find it to be, even when it's bad, it's there's a certain charm to it that I enjoy it, and the settings and stuff is great. This setting was awesome. The wind, blowing the apron up and down. Jim Ross sounding somewhat uncomfortable at times without his hat on. Tony Schiavone's hair, everyone's hair actually for that matter. This was fun, man. The opener. I think the Omega Hangman stuff is the best stuff they're doing by far to me. I don't know about you, but that to me is their best stuff.
I like that they're showcasing Hangman a little bit more, and he's not just here's this hanger-on elite guy who kind of got an opportunity a little bit too quick, is kind of a loser, whatever. When I talk to Hangman at Starcast, very engaging, really witty, really funny, has a lot of good ideas and stuff. And you never saw it on AEW television, but you're seeing it a lot more now. And I do like the Hangman stuff.
This, I feel like that is kind of captured by the way the audience reacts to him now. You know, I don't know, maybe I missed it, but I feel like there's been a real shift in perception towards him. Because as you say, I think there was once this idea that, oh, he's like the extra guy in the Elite, which was always unfair, really. It was more just a matter of where he'd been and the stuff that he'd done before that. But I think that's long gone now. I think as long as they're patient with this, the Omega Hangman payoff could be a really strong moment for AEW. What else was on this show that I enjoyed? There was a few things. I mean, the main event was very good. Jericho's Judas theme being sung was an incredible moment, right? That was bizarre. That was so many weird... That match was bizarre. Sometimes AEW seems like some sort of those booking bot accounts on social media where they just throw names into a simulator, and that's what this match appeared to be on national television. You know?
I mean, that's how we book TEW.
Yes, true. Good point.
We got to fill some time with some matches here.
Yes.
Here's the Inner Circle against the Jurassic Express. Let's do this.
Yes. And I'm all for it. And when it's wacky enough, I'll embrace those kind of matches. And the best thing about Jericho is he could wrestle anyone. And at some point, he would convince me that he's about to lose this match. That's the best thing about Jericho. And the pin was blown a little bit on one of the spots with Marco Stunt, which was a shame. But that was fun. I didn't have any problems with any of it. Oh, what did you think about the Britt Baker promo? Are you pro this or against?
I see this is a big talking point on Twitter.
Yes.
And I thought it was fine. I understood what she was going for. She was just being a mean person, ripping Shivani. Did she sound a little nervous? Maybe, but the wind was blowing and she had just wrestled, and it's not something, she does often, cutting these live promos, so I would imagine she's a little nervous.
I thought you're right about the nerves, but I still thought the overall idea of the delivery, she pretty much captured, I think.
Yeah.
Because I think it was definitely supposed to be unaware, lacking self-awareness as to why people don't like her. And obviously Tony is such a great... There is no better person to be a heel to than Tony. Because in WCW, I don't think it had the same effect. But now everyone looks at Tony and it's bless him. You know what I mean? Bless him. Here he is. He's having fun and he's getting picked on now. There's no need for it. But the actual highlight of AEW, which I've only just remembered it was such a highlight, was the MJF-Cody interactions, which were legitimately money professional wrestling. I love that stuff.
I'm glad you brought that up, because here is where they could have used Luther. Luther should have been in the pool that MJF got thrown into. I don't know why he should have been in the pool, but he should have just been in there chilling out. Why not? It wouldn't make much sense, I don't think, because why would this guy... But he's a Japanese deathmatch legend. He got some time off here. He's away from all his hardcore stuff. He's just going to hang out at the pool.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely an idea. I'm wondering when you would have gone about putting him in the pool. Would he have been there the whole time?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So when MJF's getting carried over, the fans will be going, oh, no, he's going... That's where the Japanese deathmatch legend
right,
is.
If that's where... Yeah, he's like a shark in the pool. No one wants to go into the pool.
Oh, my goodness.
Now
That's
you're
terrific.
in the pool with Luther, the Japanese deathmatch legend.
Wrestling has never had an equivalent to Jaws, but you may have just captured it. You know what I mean? That's how special that could be.
And then you got MJF being scared of him because he's like, crap, I'm in here. I didn't want to curse. He's like, crap, I'm in here with the Japanese deathmatch legend. I got to get out of here. I don't know what else he's got in here.
And the worst thing about this idea coming up now, we have to wait a year for this possibility to take place. That's the worst thing about it. Unless I miss that, unless there's another show coming up with this form, I'm pretty sure we have to wait a year for this to take place. Which is a terrible shame.
They do a lot of special event sets. I wouldn't be shocked if they have a special event pool for one of their summer shows or something.
And if it gets over, you can just make it a full-time part of the set, I feel. Yeah. I mean, that'd be incredible. Just, the announce table's in one place, and then just to the right of them is Luther's pool. That would be incredible. If it really gets over, and I understand it costs a little bit, but that would be a pretty strong move.
I want Luther just more interactions with the set. I had him last week coming out of the beach sand to attack somebody. He appeared from under the ring the first time we saw him on live television. So I need him just being part of the sets.
He appeared from under the ring much to Jim Ross's confusion, I think. he felt that a fan had suddenly appeared. He was very confused as to what was going on and why it was happening. But Excalibur had all the answers.
Thank God Excalibur was there to tell everyone.
You know what? I have to talk about this because we just agreed we like AEW. I must admit, and it might just be because I've watched enough bad wrestling that I enjoy it, but I enjoy Jim on these shows, man. I understand he's not Jim Ross that we all remember, and he's like, sometimes it's like you're just sitting watching wrestling with him, like sitting next to him, and he's kind of saying some stuff's bad. It's pretty fun. But I don't have like an issue with it. And the thing of him and Schiavone is the most bizarre. They like meet up every Wednesday to watch the wrestling. It's hilarious. I think everyone hates it. I'm all for it.
I've gotten at first I was just like, oh, he's hurting the product. I'm just not a fan of it. It's not good. But I've warmed up to it as I've realized that I shouldn't take this stuff so serious.
Exactly. Yeah, that's it.
Like they got their extension. They're not going anywhere. He's not driving off viewers or anything, and I think people are like really rooting for AEW because it is such an alternative, and they want it to be like this perfect wrestling product, and they want it to be exactly what they envisioned. And then once you take a step back and realize it's just wrestling still, like you can be like, all right, there might be some good stuff, there might be some bad stuff, but in the end, like it is just wrestling.
I also still think there is, I mean, in AEW's weekly viewership, there's definitely still like a good portion of fans just really like Jim Ross, right? And they don't care that he's not 2000, back to 2000 Jim Ross. They're happy to hear Jim Ross again. That's fine. It's not, it isn't, as you just said, it's just wrestling. It's not like an actual sporting event where the facts matter. It's professional wrestling. They're having fun. They're on a cruise, God bless them. I'm all for it. And Excalibur knows all the moves. That's pivotal. That's the key part. He knows all the moves. So the other guys just have fun. I love it.
We're gonna go back further than 2000, all the way back to the 80s, 90s, early 90s, I guess. NWA Hard Times this Saturday. There is like that transition was not good.
What a promotion that was. We're gonna go back to the 80s for this Friday's pay-per-view event.
I mean, they're based off of nostalgia.
No, you're right. I'm with you. I was confused. I'm with you, yeah.
And it is Back to the Future because, all right, the nostalgia is the NWA, but then they're holding 11 matches on this card, which is totally 2000s and today of let's just get everyone on the card and do a bunch of stuff. NWA Hard Times, Joe, you're a weekly NWA Power watcher, correct?
I am, yes, for now, yes.
What do you think of this card this weekend?
I'm going to be honest. I don't like when people they are overly generous to alternatives, so I'm not going to be. I bought this pay-per-view as soon as the last pay-per-view ended. I do genuinely enjoy the product, the style of the product. I will support it. I am somewhat, if not very, disappointed by this card. I understand the TV title is a draw, but that bracket in itself isn't like, enthralling. I mean, Ricky Starks and Matt Cross is interesting, very much so. I'm interested always in what Tim Storm is doing. He may be the greatest professional wrestler of all time, and that's a different argument for a different day, Jeremy. We'll save that for another time. But this is kind of lacking in stuff that I'm into. And I also think, and this is a bit of a wider topic about NWA, but I think they've got to be kind of careful here with the talent they choose. We both are happy to see Scott Steiner. We're both going to have fun watching Scott Steiner. But you have to be careful because perception-wise, this stuff isn't always great, And I know we just said you shouldn't take wrestling too seriously, but some of the you have to be careful if you build too much around guys that were, and this isn't even trying to be me, it's just they were more relevant decades ago. 1 decade, 2 decades, whatever it is for Steiner's, God, a long time, 25 years ago, probably, in his prime, maybe before that. So it's tough. I understand they're trying their best with the talent disposal, but to me, the draw is a classic format with new talent. And I think they're starting to miss the second half of that.
I'm with you on the new talent stuff. I love Scott Steiner. You give the guy a microphone, I'm probably going to end up watching it. I don't know if he can wrestle. He's wrestling.
He can't.
He's wrestling Aaron Stevens at the pay-per-view. I don't have any interest in the match. And I realize NWA is not the match promotion. Like if you want to see a great wrestling match, you're probably not watching NWA, but it does matter. It is still professional wrestling. The matches are a big part of it, and you're just getting like 2.5-star specials out of a lot of this stuff, and that's not quite enough nowadays. And they've got guys who can carry promos. I don't care about Ken Anderson. Don't need to see him.
See, that's one I don't want to dwell on individuals, but Ken Anderson is one where, with the way he looks, and there's just a perception when you have him central on a show that it's like people don't. I don't think people are into that. You know what I'm saying? They might be. I might be totally off base, but I feel like people will look at what he looks like on Power and be like, "Oh, damn, they're scraping the barrel a little bit," which sucks because Ken Anderson had a spell where he was super popular. I get that, but that's just the reality of the situation. I feel.
Never been an Anderson fan or Kennedy.
I get that. Yeah.
The car. I hope Ricky Starks wins the television title. I do like Ricky Starks. He is one of the guys that. He is one of those new, fresh faces for the company.
Absolutely.
And he's a good wrestler. He's good on the microphone. Like, that's the guy you should be building around.
Well, this is the thing. And, I'm never for kind of just one approach to it. James Storm has been on TV for a long time, but James Storm is still a good fit for that product. He can still have very good match. I mean, I thought the Aldis match was pretty strong.
Yeah.
It was strong. And his promos are still good. He fits the product. It's all great. I'm no issue with that. But some guys, you just have to let go, I think, at some point. But, 100% Ricky Starks is a perfect example of what this should be at its best. One thing we do have to say is it's only fair that we mention, we both spoke about Steiner, but his episode did do, I'm pretty sure, pretty strong numbers for them. Unless I'm mistaken, I'm pretty sure they went up again because of Scott Steiner, and then it came back down this week when he was off. So I guess people are out there, man. They were ready for Scotty Steiner, but as you say, him and Aaron Stevens may not be a Mac classic, as Jim Ross would used to say,
Using Steiner is fine because Steiner was at least a draw. Like Anderson, even Aaron Stevens, I think he's good in that role. But it's like, what is this guy really adding?
This week was a bit of a blow for my enjoyment of the Aaron Stevens thing because I think Aaron Stevens is super entertaining, but this week's episode, there was legitimately about a 10-minute, maybe longer, question mark segment. It felt like longer.
The show this week was 90 minutes, and half of that was the Aaron Stevens segment.
Yeah, and I don't like to kind of do it in stereotypes, like, oh, this is the serious wrestling, why is there a question mark? I don't think that's fair. I mean, there can be some fun in wrestling, it's not a big deal, but man, they've been super lenient on it. I understand that the audience in that studio likes it, but I don't know if it's as good a fit and a good enough fit to be having segments of that length. I personally don't think. When I think like random masked heel in an NWA system, I think of guys that can be very useful as just mystery figures that baby faces beat. The question mark is just beating people left and right. I don't know what the end game is. I assume I have an idea about it, but I don't know, man. This card kind of disappoints me because I've already committed my money to it like a fool. But I'm sure it'll be good. I enjoyed Into the Fire.
Into the Fire was good. I do worry that the length. Into the Fire was good because it was like 2.5 hours. Like it was a real quick watch. This one, 11 matches. I mean, the first round matches of this tournament or I guess second round, whatever round, are like. I think it has the 6:05 time limit, so they're going to be relatively short. I think that helps, but at the same time, like those short matches do make it seem less than maybe it should. Yeah, I think the decisions coming out of it will be key. I think you're right in saying that Ricky Starks needs to be, at the very least, he needs to come out of it looking better than he is, even if he's not the champion by the end, because they might have a different idea. But yeah, I think that's a key. I feel. I think he should be the champion. I thought he should have won the national title, but they went with Stevens, and I mean, sure.
That was an interesting decision in itself. This has been sad. I didn't mean to do that. I actually really like the NWA. I watch it every week, but I have to be honest. I don't want to be like, yeah, it's awesome, man, Scott Steiner. I have to be honest. This kind of week.
I binge watch it. It's not any taped show where I already know the results. I typically just binge watch. Like,
but this is the thing. You have to write the news and stuff for Fightful, so you actually are aware of these spoilers. I have no clue any of this is happening. So for me, it's like brand new. I didn't know they won the tag titles on AEW. They said out of the blue one. So I was very excited when that happened. But yeah, anyway, next topic. That's enough about the NWA, I guess.
Final topic, a throwback to last week where Sasha Banks was 2020. Sasha Banks is 1995. Michael Jordan. Zion Williamson made his NBA debut on Wednesday night. He played about 18 minutes, and he scored like 17 straight points in the fourth quarter, and then they pulled him because Alvin Gentry is a coward, and the medical teams are cowards in New Orleans. Joe, who is the Zion Williamson of the NBA?
Firstly, I want to say that for anyone that's interested in my NBA watching habits, I turned this game off when Zion had like 4 points, and I was done. And then the next morning I saw the headline, 17 straight points. I was like, man, that was brutal. I should just not watched if I was going to miss the actual important stuff. This is the hardest question ever posed to me in the history of the distraction in all 3 episodes. I have no idea how to approach this, Jeremy. Okay, I've thought about it for a while. You can look at it as the most hyped professional wrestler that has yet to actually like do anything kind of that you could actually like concrete. Okay, it's definitely happening. Or you could look at it from the injury perspective. You can look at it from the flashy perspective. I have no clue. He's an anomaly, right? So you have to have someone a little bit unique. You can't just run any sort of name out there. But I was thinking about it a lot, and I had no clear route. I was trying to go NXT because newcomers. I'm hoping you've got like a name.
I've got a name.
Oh,
do you want me to?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I do because I have none.
All right. You could also look at it from the perspective of Zion is very fat because that's all the announcers wanted to tell you on. That's not my route, but that's all they wanted to say during the broadcast last night. Here's my name, and it's kind of a mixture of hype, injuries, fatness, I guess, a little bit of everything, and it's gonna get me some heat. Lars Sullivan is my name.
Wow. I mean. Where do I start? Okay, you have the injury.
He very hyped, very hyped coming. Debut.
In what way?
Debut was delayed in WWE. Supposed to be at Rumble last year, but didn't happen for one reason or another.
Yeah.
Came in, made his debut, got off to a strong start, attacking Angle and all those guys, and then. Injury, injuries happened out of the spotlight now. That it's not perfect, but there are some comparisons there. WWE's gonna push him when he comes back too. He's gonna be hyped again when he comes back. Maybe, I don't know after everything. But.
So you're saying hyped in the regard that like they pretended it was a big deal. Is that what you're saying? Yeah, I'm assuming I didn't miss the dialogue in which we all was like incredibly excited for Lars Sullivan's main roster arrival, right?
Were we not excited for Lars Sullivan main roster arrival?
This is a real problem. This is a real problem.
Debuted at Survivor Series.
See, this is the issue. You're in the clear here. You can say he was excited. You can say he wasn't excited. I definitely wrote lengthy paragraphs about Lars Sullivan when I was covering NXT, and there is a very good chance that I was a massive Lars Sullivan fan. I legitimately forget these things. I forget this stuff happened, okay? So if that did happen and anyone tracks it down, delete it in any way, shape, or form you can, okay? Contact Fightful, get rid of it. Lars Sullivan may be the best name you could, but then what's Zion's equivalent of wrestling the Lucha House Party in Saudi Arabia? There's nothing like that.
Playing the under 500 Spurs on national television.
It could be the steal and dunk from Kevin Knox in the Summer League. It might be that. Just bullying on television. I don't know. I was sitting there. This is the craziest thing about it, okay? And again, pull back the curtain. You send me these topics over, and like most of them, I'm just like, yeah, of course. And this one, I was sitting there pondering it. I was thinking it over, and I couldn't. There's a lot of hyped wrestlers, but none of them are still a mystery to the degree that he is. Like if it all goes wrong,
Lars Sullivan or Zion?
Zion, that's on my head.
Okay.
The thing for Zion is if it all goes wrong and his career kind of fades away, hopefully not, of course, but then there's a lot of comparisons. Then you're talking original Sin Cara. Okay. Yeah. However, I don't want to be mean. He's had one game in which he's got 17 straight points, so I have to assume this wrestler is somewhat good. Game changer. I have no clue. However, I mean, is this topic something that our audience loves? Because personally, I think it's the best part of the show.
I told you I don't have metric breakdowns of this stuff, but it's our podcast. Once Sean and Jimmy actually listen to this and tell us to knock this off, then we'll have to knock it off. But until then, we're going to go with it.
I have a comment for you, Jeremy. A friend of mine, personal friend of mine, messaged me that he almost turned our podcast off once you stated that Bailey was the LeBron James of Dash Banks' towel. And it brought me back then, just thinking about it, that we actually had like a legitimate conversation about that being a comparison. And then I realised I should have took the Lars Sullivan comparison as seriously as I did.
You shouldn't take any of this stuff seriously.
I know, but I'm trying to find the accurate choices here. Zion is a very limited base.
You gave me no names, Joe. No names.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, I'm thinking hype. Who has hype in wrestling now, though? Right? It's a different thing, isn't it? You know.
It would have to be like Austin Theory. I don't know. That's the latest name I could think of who was like at the takeover show and in the crowd.
I gave you no names. What about have they signed anyone recently in NXT that hasn't debuted, or has this all happened? I know the Women's Battle Royal was like the start for some girls. Is there no?
El Cuerno from
right.
Was that his name on Lucha Underground? Forgot.
I don't know. It's definitely not Zion.
King Cuerno. King Cuerno,
yes. Yeah. Yes, no, that's familiar. I had no clue where you were going with that.
They signed him. Know. He hasn't debuted. Jake Atlas just got signed. He hasn't debuted yet. A lot of people are high on him.
What about Jason Jordan as a comparison? How'd you feel about that one?
Oh, all right. I like that.
Try my best.
I hope his career turns out better than Jason Jordan's, but
yeah,
I can.
That's a real sad topic for me, Jeremy.
That's a very sad topic.
You know, there's in wrestling in this industry that we're in, Jeremy, and we're at the absolute top of it, as you know. We take losses sometimes. The Jason Jordan debacle is a real sad one because I feel I was about to, in my long-term Jason Jordan endorsement, I was about to win. I feel like we was on the right track, and it got taken from us. We'll never know the result, you know, which is a terrible way to end this podcast. But it's the truth, okay? It's the truth.
Yeah, Jason Jordan is definitely a not so great topic there. Yeah. Sad times. And hopefully he comes back at some point, but we've been doing this Is He Gonna Come Back deal for like a year now, if not more. When he get hurt in 2018?
Yes, it's been 2 years, I think.
Oh man. Yeah.
I think it was the 2018 Rumble
was when teaming with Rollins.
That's the craziest thing. I mean, and again, we're off track again because this is a distraction. It makes sense, aptly named. But the way that we see so many guys do so many crazy things, and the idea that a guy like that, who is an incredible athlete's career, can be halted, is just, it really does put into perspective. And I think that's why both of us, I mean, we're not going to sit here and, like, you know, rag on wrestlers. There's no need for it. But that is really puts into perspective how fleeting it can be. So if you do like wrestling, guys, and this is a real message now, Jeremy, I'm being sincere, okay? If you like someone in professional wrestling, enjoy them, you know? Because I didn't with Jason Jordan. I was too busy trying to win Twitter debates. And next thing I knew, he was taken from me. So enjoy who you like. I hope they win the Rumble, unless it's, you know, someone not so good. Put money on CM Punk to win the Men's Rumble. Definitely good money. And I think that's my lesson for today, Jeremy. I don't know if you've got one to share.
No, I don't have any lessons.
You don't.
You can be the Stan Marsh of the podcast and give your what I learned today.
4-1 CM Punk. 4-1.
Is that really his odds?
Only 4-1. Yeah, it is.
Sure. I mean, CM Punk might show up and win. Maybe. Who knows? You never know.
Maybe.
What would the pop be if CM Punk shows up?
I mean, it'd probably be great, but at this point, I couldn't muster up any energy, really.
The whole household ain't popping for it.
There's very little chance I'll make any noise watching the Royal Rumble. Like, I'll probably watch it in silence and just be like, yeah, it's fun. This is my issue, and this is actually something I need help on, Jeremy. I need help before we go. Send me professional wrestlers that I should actually root for, because I have a very sad history in that topic, and I need some new ones. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
I need names, guys. Help me out. You know, it's got to be someone who suits my style here. You know, I'm a Jason Jordan fan. Bobby Roode. You know what I'm saying? Follow the path, and you'll be fine.
Thanks, that's the challenge we will put out to the distraction faithful back here. All right.
I'll report.
We'll mark that down. Joe, where can everyone find you on the socials and elsewhere?
Joe Hulbert 5 on the Twitter, and be very excited. The features are back. I think they're pretty good. They're not great. They're not classics. You know, I'm being modest about it, Jeremy. They're not classics. They're only 9 out of 10s, not 10s. So
They're
enjoy
not Tyson
them.
Fury against Braun Strowman.
Yes, which is, again, saved for another day.
Kurt Angle gave it a 10 out of 10. Who are you to doubt Kurt Angle?
I'll never doubt that, man. A legend in my view, you know?
Joe's got his feature on Asuka and Becky Lynch and dropping definitely this week, and Sheamus, I believe, dropping at some point this week as well, once Sean gets around to scheduling things. You can follow me on Twitter at JeremyLambert88. Support us on FightfulSelect.com. We got the features from Joe going up there early to the AEW Real Sports Power Rankings. They're actually going up on Fightful early now because we've taken over Thursdays, Joe. We've got this, and I've got the Power Rankings. We need to get your feature spot on Thursday morning as well. So we go a Hulbert feature at 11 on Thursday. We go the AEW Power Rankings at 3, and then we got the distraction at 7. We'll just take over the full main page.
So you said, so the features are at 11 and you're at 3, right?
Yeah.
So in my mind, I know this wasn't what you were talking about, like site technicalities, but in my view, whoever our audience is read my features for 4 hours, just sat there waiting. They were scrolling up and down like, that's a good point. You know, I need to reread that part.
That's exactly how it works.
Yeah, good.
Every 4 hours on Thursday, you get content from one of us, and then at the very end, you get it from both of us.
That's amazing. That's an amazing. That'd be in the old days when we had DVDs. You know, us old folk, Jeremy. That would be a box set, wouldn't it? Every week, you know.
Distraction Thursdays on Fightful. I'm pitching this idea once we get off this podcast.
Okay, so the audience will know whether it's true or false by next week, I guess.
Thank you, everybody, for listening, checking out the podcast on whether you're on YouTube or on the podcast platforms, that the Fightful feed of the podcast. We'll be back next week. We'll do some Rumble Fallout. We'll find another NBA player to compare to wrestlers. Joe will give you his list of new favorite wrestlers that he'll be rooting for. Send him those topics, and we will talk to everyone next week.